Wow, we are starting off strong with a Mimi tangent. Give me the time. I will hunt you down. My dream bookstore. I make absolutely zero sense. I am not concise. Don't call me out on it, okay? It's really bad. Mimi. Okay, maybe that's a terrible name. Hi friends, it's Mimi and today is a bonus video for Tag Tuesday or maybe Tag Thursday. I don't know when I'm going to upload this since today is technically Monday and I wanted this video up tomorrow. I feel like tag videos should be fairly quick and simple to edit, alright? I have high hopes, high expectation for myself, so I'm hoping this will go up tomorrow, aka September 3rd, but we'll see how I do. We'll see how I fare. And without any further ado, any rambling, let's talk about today's tag video, which is in your wildest dream tag. And I was so kindly tagged by Amanda at Be Kind and Read On. I also believe this tag was originally from Heather at Heather Reads. I will have their channel and information linked down in the description as always. But without any further ado, let's just get right into this tag. I'm hoping it'll be a quick, easy, fun tag for all of us to listen to. And the very first prompt is, what is my fantasy time and place to read a book? Now, this is really fun because you guys can get to see how much of a degenerate I am, and it would have to be in the middle of the night. I read majority of my books probably between 10 p.m. to 2 or 3 a.m. I love reading at night. I am a heavy night owl. I do not function during the daytime, aside from the time, which always has to be at nighttime. That means the room that I am reading in needs to be cozy, but also well lit enough for me to read. I want a couch that is fluffy, that is very comfortable to lay on in multiple different positions. I don't want any, numbed legs. I don't want any frozen legs. I want to be able to move around, sit in various positions, have my leg up, have my leg down, have my legs sprawled out, be completely on the couch in multiple different ways. Another thing that is definitely going to be a must-have is a Kindle stand, okay? I need something to hold my Kindle for me that will be positioned right in front of my face in the perfect angle where I don't have to move much. And in addition to that, I need something that will automatically click my Kindle. I know Kindle clickers exist. I actually don't have one yet. I don't know why. I probably should invest in one. Maybe I'll ask for one for my birthday, but on top of everything else, I want a small space where Ducky, my corgi, can hop on and lay next to me or within the vicinity. So a lot of the time she ends up laying next to me on the ground. But if I could have any fantasy place and time to read, I want to have like a spot right next to me at all time where it's just dedicated for her to lay on. I feel like that would be super cute, super fun to have. I've seen videos of ads of an actual step stool where the dog can step up and lay right next to you, next to your chair. That's what I want in all the spots, in all the reading spots that I may have in my fantasy place. All right, so yeah, I am not much of a decorative person. My walls are completely empty, as you guys can see over here. So I don't really need much. I just need my books. I need a well-lit space, a comfortable space with cozy blankets and whatnot, and I'm good to go. I'm pretty easygoing. I honestly can read almost anywhere and everywhere. I don't even get car sick when I read, so I'm a pretty good person when it comes to anywhere and everywhere. So as long as I have time, I think the biggest answer to this question will probably be requiring time. The fantasy part of this is having enough time to read anything and everything that I want, because honestly, 24 hours is not enough time to do everything that I want. That's just my take on this question. I know a lot of people have really fun, creative ways of their space and places to read, but my biggest thing is give me the time. Like, give me the time. Prompt number 2 is, what is my fantasy library or a fantasy library that I wish to obtain? This is really hard for me because I've been trying to keep the mentality of not needing more physical items in my possession just for the waste aspect of it and the lack of space I have. However, if this is in a fantasy world, I would want all the mangas, all the manhwas / webcomics to be in its printed format and in my possession. It's a must-have. I find that the experience of reading mangas and manhwas in physical form is elite, whereas when you read novels or text novels to be exact, you can read it on a Kindle or digitally and it would have almost the same experience as if you were to read it via book form. But I find that the book form or the physical version of manhwa and mangas to be so elite. I really enjoy looking at them, especially flipping back and forth to the pages, comparing all the reactions and whatnot. Spectacular. I library, that's what I would want. Also, I believe this is mainly because of the fact that webcomics are not always published as physical books. So it's also me as a way to have that option and that availability to obtain. In addition to manhwas and mangas, I would want a section of all the books I've read that were at least 4 stars or higher. Generally, I give almost everything a pretty high rating. If you've known me for now, you can honestly break down my rating to be 1, 2, and 3s, or in different cases, 3, 4, and 5. But I would want to obtain any and all books that are 4-star reads or higher. And the only reason why it's not a thing for me right now is one, I don't have a lot of space in my house, and two, finance. Buying books is expensive. You know this, I know this, we know this. All right, it's a known thing. Books are expensive. But if it was my fantasy library, I would most definitely have a whole wall of books that I rated 4 stars or higher. Will I possibly ever go back to every single one of them? No. But do I want it anyways? Absolutely. Absolutely yes. Now, the very last section in my library that I would want is my TBR shelf. Except I don't know. I feel like I shouldn't need a TBR shelf if all the books that I like are automatically 4-star read will show up on my shelf. But also, I want to be able to have and obtain the book right away. Since I am an avid library reader, a lot of the times I don't get 100% my mood picks and my mood reads. Since we do have to line up in the queue, we gotta wait in the queue and try to get our library loans. So having it physically there and ready for me whenever I want to read is definitely a bonus and something that I want. Last but not least, you can't have the perfect library without the perfect resource to keep the library clean, neat, and damage free. And what I'm talking about is dehumidifier, bug repellent, and probably UV reflective glass and UV protective blinds on all of the windows, because I wouldn't want my books to get damaged. And in that perfect fantasy library, I would have all of these perfect things set up in a way to protect my books and that they won't get damaged by mold, they won't get damaged by silverfish or any other bugs of that matter, because I've seen bugs that can eat through books, and I am really paranoid about all of them. I'm really paranoid about that, so I always make sure to clean my bookshelf at least once every couple of months. And yeah, that's probably it for my fantasy library. Pro tip, if you have a library right now, do not push your books all the way to the back. Give them some breathing room, all right? Let the air circulate. That way it will be less prone to mold, it will be less prone to bugs crawling into the cracks and crevices. And yeah, that is my answer for prompt number 2. Prompt number 3 is going to require a little bit of imagination, a little bit of brain work for me, and it is imagine my fantasy bookstore that I own. And a lot of extra questions around this is, what would I name it? Would it sell secondhand book? And what other products would it have inside of this magical bookstore that I own? Now, I'm not very creative, but the name I came up with is Me Mellion's Bookstore. It's a play on Mimi, it's a play on million, and then a bookstore at the end. So like million of bookstore, but in my case is Me Millions. I don't know. I'm thinking about it now, and it sounds a little bit inappropriate, just a little bit, but it's fine. It's fine. That's what I came up with. I did my best, and that's what I'm going to name it. Me Millions Bookstore. Now, in my bookstore, we will absolutely have as many variety of books as possible, and I would definitely want a section of indie authors and a section for local authors as well. So those are probably the 2 biggest things. I would absolutely sell secondhand books. In fact, I would even have a loyalty system or some kind of reward system where if you buy a book from my bookstore and you come back within X amount of days, kind of not return the book, but exchange the book for something else, you can exchange it for a set amount of credits where you can apply it on your next book purchase. It's to kind of promote books to be purchased and be reused. I feel like that's probably the best way to reduce waste and keep the bookstore going around. I don't know how profitable that would be, because in essence they would only buy one book and then come back and return it and be able to purchase another book, but it would definitely have to be in a range of like how well that book was kept and how well that book condition is. But if it's in a good enough condition, it's basically almost a full refund, but in-store credit and you would be able to exchange it for another book. And this way, I don't have to go out and purchase more copies of, let's say, Percy Jackson if this copy gets reused, and reused again and kept in a good condition. So that's a little bit of my idea on how the system would work for purchasing books. But aside from the books themselves, we must have and we should have a boba store slash coffee shop inside of the bookstore. I am an avid boba drinker. You've probably seen it in multiple of my videos. I'm always drinking some coffee or some boba-like drink, so it's a must-have. It's a 100% need to be there. And I want the cafe to have a lot of readable area and areas where people can sit, work, do their business. I want it to be somewhere that people can idle around, have bookish conversation, or even host their book clubs there. In fact, I would even want like a little section where you can put together the seats in a sort that can actually host meetups and events. So that is another section of the bookstore that I want. The another part of this is that I want rest areas or areas where people can just pick up a book, read it at the store after they purchase it. And in these areas, we have comfortable couches, cute lighting, cute aesthetics, everything you could possibly want. And it will be separated out between kids and adults. So there's definitely a kids section area. And of course, parents can accompany their kids. And in that kid playground, there will be tents, hide and seek area, little cozy nooks for them to go in and read and just have fun. But I also want it to be in a separate area, possibly in opposite sides of the bookstore. So we have two very distinct areas of more of a calmer space, kind of like a library. You can still chit chat, you can still have light conversations. Now, I got really excited brainstorming for this idea. And I think it is a genius idea. So do not take it, all right? Do not take it. If you guys steal my idea, I will hunt you down, all right? I will hunt you down. But this is my genius idea. So a lot of people like to journal about their books and whatnot. I personally love that as well. But you know what is the hardest part about journaling the books? The supplies. The supplies. I feel like I have spent over a couple of $100s just buying a bunch of supplies for journaling. And I was thinking that we have a little bit of a membership or a one-time payment. So I'm talking about like $35 membership a month or $10 every time you want to use the workshop room. Now the workshop room will have all of the stationery you can think of. Everything you need: pens, markers, tumbles, highlighters, craft paper, printers, photo printer paper so you can print out pictures of your books and then print out pages to decorate in your journal and have like a journaling spread. I think this is a genius idea, especially if it's in a bookstore. Do I have the capital to make this happen? No, but do not steal this idea. Do not steal this idea. I'm playing with the idea. Maybe I'll actually become a bookstore owner, all right? And if I were, I would definitely have a stationary journaling craft table booth for people to use. Now, is that not just the most genius idea ever? Probably not, but I was really proud of myself when I came up with that idea. I was thinking to myself, you know, that sounds like a pretty great business actually, if I had the money to start it. But I don't. So we're here and we're going on to the next question for this prompt, and it will forever be in my fantasy. But yes, I have like a whole layout on how my fantasy bookstore would be, and it would be the Mimi Melons. Mimi Melons? Mimi Millions. Okay, maybe that's a terrible name. Mimi Millions bookstore. Anyways, that is going to be my dream bookstore. Anyways, let's move away from my dream bookstore and my dream crafts membership idea and go on to number 4. So prompt number 4 is one person I can have good conversation with about books, and if they are not a reader, you can convert them into a reader. Now, we cannot name any booktubers, so I would have to name my husband. Honestly, he's doing a great job. He does read, but not everything that I read, and he is very focused on mangas and manhwas, but at least we have that in common. We talk about mangas and manhwas, animes, all that good stuff. But if I were able to convert him, I most definitely would, and I would have him read all the books that I read, because I sometimes need someone to communicate with either the frustration or the surprise or just the mental anguish that I'm going through in a book. I want to be able to have someone talk with me through every kind of emotion that I'm having. My husband's a great sport though. He would sit there and he would listen to my incoherent babbles about a specific scene or about a specific book that I have just read. And let me tell you, you guys get the edited version of me speaking, but in person, I make absolutely zero sense. Sometimes he has to sit there and he tells me, please be concise. I am not concise. I am the world's biggest blabber. Like sometimes I go off on a tangent and he has to steer me back onto what I'm telling him in the first place. So it would have to be my husband. He's a great champ. He's a great sport. He still listens through everything though, but it would be really nice if he could also read it and also give his perspective, because everything that he's hearing, he's building and creating a response and a perspective based on my analysis and my summary of the book. And I know that people have their own interpretations of things and what's happening in the books. So having him be able to read those books and come up with his own opinions would also be great. But luckily, even though he is not the perfect husband for reading, we have each other on BookTube. A lot of the gaps is filled by you all, by other booktubers. Like, you guys are amazing. I know that I'm joining Ellen from the Ellen Made Book Club in her bookish journey. So all of the book club pick reads, I have someone to talk with at the very least with Ellen, but also in the comment section, every time I read people's responses, I'm like, oh, I didn't think of that, right? And then now I'm starting to do buddy reads with other people, and I get to just express my excitement when I hit a specific chapter or when I just finished a book. Like with The Queen of Nothing, I was just talking to Chris about like, this is the best book by far of her entire series. Like the second book was Enemies to Lovers, but the last book was just seeing Jude's growth and character development was just spectacular, and we were just talking about that. So while my husband does his best with kind of what he's given by me, the rest of the cracks are filled by you all. So honestly, I'm kind of happy as to where I am. I don't need any fantasy fluff element to it. It would be great. It would be awesome. It would be amazing if he starts reading everything that I read. But if we were exactly 100% the same, I wouldn't be able to get a different perspective and a different view. And yeah, I wouldn't want it any other way. Now, the last question to wrap up this wildest dream tag is, if I had $1 million or any currency, what would I spend it on if I can only spend it on books or books related items? Now, first and foremost, make sure to always pick the strongest currency, all right? Because we want the best bang for our bucks. Do I know what the strongest currency is right now? Absolutely not. But assuming the dollar is the strongest currency of them all, what would I imagine and want to do? First of all, buy out all the books that I talked about in the first question, aka any books that I rated 4 stars or higher, and also all the bookshelves to actually be able to store the books. But that might not be possible, so at the very least, I would want them on my Kindle to have and actually own a version of it somewhere, even if it's digitally. I would be happy. I would be fine with that. Next, I would most definitely pre-order from all the authors that I thoroughly enjoy reading. I believe that pre-order might be one of the best ways to support the author prior to their book release. I mean, I think they make money from the other books as you buy them, but pre-ordering really helps set their goals and set their money during the time that they're writing the books. So I would most definitely pre-order books from authors that I really enjoy and I have a blast with their books. So examples would be Abby Jimenez, Emily Henry, Anna Huang, Ali Hazelwood, all that good stuff, right? So I would most definitely start pre-ordering the books of all the authors and everything I love, and especially buy out all the mangas and manhwas that are currently available in physical formats. So that's really a big focus on just books. However, when we're talking about accessories, I would really want stationery, highlighters, markers, tabs, sticky notes, everything. Let me show you what I did with my Abby Jimenez just for the summer, all right? So the reason why I say tabs and sticky notes and all of that, because I did it for just for the summer, and yes, this is my tabbed Abby Jimenez just for the summer. Did I do it in an aesthetic format? Yes. Did I? I'm completely burned out. Okay. Yes, I did make it very aesthetic, but I guess what I wanted to show was that I got these highlighter thin sticky tabs, and they are absolutely great if you don't want like a permanent mark on your book but you still want to highlight stuff. So yes, I would most definitely buy a bunch of sticky tabs, note tabs, transparent, translucent sticky tabs. I love arts and crafts and journaling. I love journaling about the books, so pens, markers, notebooks, all that good stuff. And what else would I? Kindles. I want more Kindle stands around my house. I talked to my husband about how I really want like the ones that go on your lap, like it's a pillow and there's still a stand and you could put your Kindle on there. He said it was a little ridiculous and I shouldn't get it, so I didn't get it. But if I see it at Target, I will most definitely get it because it was like this little donut. If I could find a picture, I would paste it on the screen somewhere. But it's like a donut with a stand where you could put your tablet in and you could put snacks in the little donut hole. And I thought that was genius. I was like, I could lay on the couch with that on my lap. Like that is whoever invented that, genius, perfection. You are beautiful, you are brilliant, you are smart. All right. So I would definitely buy a lot of those and a lot of the actual stands that I have from Daiso to put all around my house because if I'm at my desk, I like to read up here, not down here. My neck, I have tech neck. All right, I work in tech. I look at the computer screens way too much. I'm always looking down. My neck posture is not good. Reading has only made it worse. I have been trying really hard to fix my posture, but my posture is really bad. Don't call me out on it, okay? It's really bad. But yeah, that's what I would want. I also want a Kindle page turner. Are you surprised I don't have one? I've had my Kindle for a little over 9 or 10 months now. I bought it back in December and I do not have a Kindle page turner. I don't know why. Maybe I was just like, I'm not that lazy. But I realized I really am that lazy. So after this filming session, I might actually go buy it, but that's not 100% decided yet. I think that's it for everything I would actually want if I had $1 million, and any leftover money, which I would assume would probably be a lot, I want to donate to the local libraries and specifically libraries, school libraries for more underprivileged and underfunded schools. I came from an extremely underfunded school and the books and everything we got were all from great donators, from great people who donated their books, great authors who donated their books, or just people's kindness. And my school library was kind of like where I got started in reading. I was in the book club. I remember reading World War Z. I remember reading a lot of like different books. I'm trying to remember. One of them was really popular and it got made into a TV show. It was the one with the videotapes. I don't remember it on top of my head. I read it in middle school, or I read it in high school. That one was really good. I really liked it, but I didn't like the TV show, so I think I kind of blocked it out of my memory. But my high school experience was great. I read a lot of books thanks to my high school libraries. So if I had $1 million and I already got everything I wanted, I want to be able to donate the rest of the money to the underprivileged libraries, specifically school libraries, because I know that different school districts have different fundings, and unfortunately more affluent areas do have better books, better materials, newer books and whatnot, and then more underprivileged areas have less books, and that's something that I definitely encountered and experienced in my own experience. So if I would donate to those books. All right, now I think that is it for this creative in your wildest dream tag. If I could, I would wish for any one of these to be true. I really do. I don't need all of them. I'm not being too greedy, right? I don't need all of them. Just one of them would be nice, all right? Even if it's just the one that my husband starts reading that everything that I read, I would be happy, ecstatic even. But you know what? Sometimes we just gotta have these goals, aspiration, and dreams so we can run towards it, all right? So I'm just saying, I might be making my little bookstore idea be the current aspiring dream that I want to have. Maybe I'll brainstorm a little bit more on that. Maybe I'll look for loans to open a bookstore. Who knows? But it's looking more and more promising. It's looking more and more enticing as I'm talking about it. I'm thinking about it. But let's not get sidetracked. I think I wanted to tag some people in this fun, creative tag. Honestly, this tag was so much fun to do. I love coming up with ideas. I think the name that I came up with for my bookstore was a little suspicious, but that's fine. That's okay. Now, let me tag some people to get their creative juices flowing. I want to hear their answers. I want to see what they can come up with. What are all their ideas, or if we're pretty similar in that aspect. All right. So the first person I'm going to tag is Maria Andrea at Books and Bookdeals. I cannot wait to hear what your answers are. Make sure to go follow her. She is the sweetest, kindest human being ever. She has a lot of consistent content and she really interacts with the community and has a lot of life updates. Her videos are super soothing. I just feel so much happiness when I listen to to her talk. So Maria Andrea, I cannot wait to hear what your answers are and how creative you can get with these questions. Now, the next person I'm going to tag is Jean Monnet at Jean Mo Reads. She has been a long-time booktuber friend of mine, and she's actually currently studying to go into med school, all that good stuff. So she hasn't been super active lately, and I just want to welcome her back. I think she just finished her midterms, all her testing, and she wants to create a little bit more content on BookTube. So I'm welcoming her back to BookTube, saying hi, hello. She does still post every now and then, but we all know how long these videos take, and she was very studious. She's been studying for her exams, so she has not had the chance to post as much videos as she would like. So hopefully this tag is a creative outlet and tipping your toes back into the pool a little bit more. So I can't wait to hear your answers. Now, last but not least, I am tagging Ashley Beck's Reads. She's currently someone I'm buddy reading Caravel with this month. And you know what? I just want to see how creative you can get, Ashley. Honestly, her bookshelf is already goals. It's spectacular, beautiful already. I'm already jealous of that. But if she did have $1 million and she could go all out with her imagination, I want to know how she would end up doing this tag. So yeah, I think that is it for all the people I am tagging. But as always, if you find that you want to do this tag, I highly recommend it. And the questions will always be in the description for you. And drop a comment, drop an at, let me know when you post it, or at me in the video so I know when it's uploaded. This was such a fun tag. I definitely brainstormed a lot for these answers, so I hope you also enjoy this tag as well. And with that, I am gonna wrap up this video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like bookish content with a side of statistical data, definitely make sure to check out my video on Sunday for my August monthly wrap-up with all the graphs, data, statistics, and also make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys on Sunday for the August monthly wrap-up. Bye! Now imagine if I don't actually get the monthly August wrap-up on time. Bye!